Hey guys, we are going over this activity that we did in class, lesson 1, activity 21. It looks like this. Okay, it's the MPCs, MPSs, multipliers, so forth and so on. I'm going to not really be in front of the camera because I think you need to see the math to follow along easily, so I'm going to flip the camera around and see how this goes. Alright, here we go. Okay, so alright, question number 1. What is the value of the tax multiplier if the MPC is 0.8? Alright, so you could just use the table on the front, but you're not always going to be given that simple little table to use, so it's best to know how to do the math. Remember, tax multiplier is negative MPC over MPS, right there, okay? MPC is given to you, it's 0.8, so we have negative 0.8, and we put 0.2 on the denominator because, remember, MPC plus MPS will always equal 1. MPC was given to you, so MPS right there is going to be 0.2. I know it's kind of hard to read, I made a mistake. Negative 0.8 over 0.2 is going to be equal to 4, because you could just move that decimal place over 1 for the top, over 1 for the bottom. It's the same thing. 8 divided by 2 is going to be that 4. Don't forget that negative sign, so it's negative 4. Number 2, the value of the government spending multiplier if the MPC is 0.67. Remember, the spending multiplier is 1 over MPS. MPC is given to you, 0.67. MPS is going to be 0.33, so 1 over 0.33 is going to be equal to 3. That's your spending multiplier. Tax multiplier, we're back now with that tax equation of negative MPC over MPS. MPS this time is given of 0.25. So you're going to throw that right in the denominator. There it is. And point right there. So MPC is going to be 0.75. Don't forget that negative sign. Negative 0.75 over 0.25 is equal to 3. Negative 3. So if we're not using our calculators, the best way I see this as money. How many 25 cents are in 75 cents? And that would be 3 times. Okay, number 4. So how could the multiplier be used to explain wide swings of income, so basically the business cycle, in Ecoland? And small changes in expenditures are magnified by a multiplier effect. If the government's going to spend $10, that's not just going to have $10 effect on GDP. It's going to have a multiplied effect. You never know what the multiplier is going to be because MPC can always change. And so they don't know what the effect is going to be, which is why it fluctuates so often. Okay. Number 5 is a tricky question. I like this question. The numerical value for investment and government spending multiplier increases as the... Okay, so let's look at that front table again. So it's saying the multiplier increases as the... Well, look at the MPCs. As the MPCs increase, as people are spending more, 60%, 75%, 80%, 90% of their income, it's going to have a multiplied effect on the economy. So the multiplier will go up as MPC is going up. But if you look at the questions, the answer choices, none of them say that. None of them say MPC goes up. Well, the next best thing, well, you know that if MPC is going up, MPS is going down. If MPC goes from 60 to 80% or 0.6 to 0.8, that means MPS fell from 0.4 to 0.2. So the other side of that is MPS is going down. So the multiplier will go up if MPS goes down. Number 6. If the government spending multiplier is 5 and the value of the tax multiplier must be, you once again could look on the front of that chart, but to do the math, I always want to do just basically some reverse math. So if the multiplier is 5, if the spending multiplier K is 5, and K is 1 over MPS, then 5 is 1 over MPS, and then you solve for MPS, where I got MPS being 2. So 5 equals 1 over MPS, multiplied by MPS on either side, you get 5 MPS equals 1. Divided by 5, MPS is 1/5, or 0.2. But it's asking for the tax multiplier. I have MPS. So I'm going to throw that right out of the denominator because the tax multiplier is negative MPC over MPS, or negative 0.8 in this case over 0.2. This was given. You had to figure this out because they both equal to 1. Negative 0.8 over 0.2 is 4. This looks familiar. We saw this right up there. It's the same math. Okay. These next few questions use this table right up top. You see incomes are going up from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 to 500, and consumption is also going up by $75, 150 to 225 to 300 to 375. So, first question is, what is the government spending multiplier? The spending multiplier is 1 over MPS. Oh, how do you figure out MPS? Okay, well, this was how you to figure out MPC. This is the MPC formula from the question above. Remember, MPC equals change in consumption, which is $75 per little change, $75 between each of these, over 100. There's 100 change in each of these, 100 to 200 to 300, that's 100. So it's 75 divided by 100 is 0.75. Remember, that was our MPC. The spending multiplier is 1 over MPS. So if MPC is 0.75, MPS is going to be 0.25. 1 over 0.25 is equal to 4. Once again, I think of this as being how many 25 cents is how many quarters are in a dollar. 4. Number 8. If there is an increase in taxes of $200 in Ecoland, the decrease in GDP will be, okay, taxes go up by $200. We're using these numbers before, so keep in mind MPC is 0.75, MPS is 0.25. The tax multiplier is negative MPC over MPS, or negative 0.75 over 0.25. That equals to negative 3. That gives you the multiplier. But what's going to happen to GDP if taxes go up by 200? Well, you multiply that change by the multiplier, 200, times a 3 multiplier right there is 600. What that negative means is there's a negative relationship. If taxes go up, GDP will decrease. If taxes were to go down, GDP will increase. So that just means a negative relationship. So 200 times 3 is that $600 change. If taxes go up by $200, GDP will decrease by $600. Number 9. If there's an increase in government spending of 100 and an increase in taxes by 100 in Ecoland, then the change will be. Okay, so we use there's our $100 government spending using our spending multiplier. If government spending goes up by 100 with a multiplier, it'll really go up, the GDP will go up by 400. There's that $100 taxes, and we're now using our tax multiplier we found out in the previous question right there. Our tax multiplier is negative 3. GDP will fall by 300. Okay, so if they're raising spending, GDP will go up by 400, but they're also raising taxes, so GDP will fall by 300. So there will be a positive net change of $100. The 400 minus the 300 will give you that positive $100 change. And last question, why do people of Ecoland need to understand the multipliers? Understanding multipliers allows people to understand the impact of fiscal policy. Okay, you guys don't know that yet, but fiscal policy is changing taxes and or government spending to regulate the fluctuations of the business cycle. So if you just said something about how government spending affects GDP, or how people's taxes and changing those affects GDP, that's fine, because that's what this is. Autonomous components of consumption, investment, and government spending on total income, which is another way to say GDP. So basically, one more way to say GDP is total income, along with, you know, all the other things that we have. Okay, hopefully that was, hopefully you understood that. Hopefully this did not go so long as the last video. But watch this. Have any questions, come see me before school, after school. Shoot me an email or a tweet or a remind message, or post something on Google Classroom, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.